Well, as your back to school authority, we are talking to superintendents around our state to give you a snapshot of how preparations are going before your kids head to their classrooms. This morning, I'm joined by Cheshire's Superintendent, Dr. Jeff Solon. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, Nicole. Glad to be here.
So first things first, how are preparations going? You're just a few weeks away from the start of school.
Yeah, it's incredibly, it's just shocking to realize that summer's coming to an end already, but we're excited to have our kids coming back, and it's what should be a somewhat normal return after a few years of managing COVID.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how will the return this year look compared to the past 2 years?
Yeah, we're reviewing all of our COVID protocols now, but it's looking more and more like we're going to have similar protocols to the end of last year. I mean, we will not require masks or anything like that, and be able to engage in more typical classroom activities. So when I say we're excited to get back to normal, that means being able to engage in things like group work and stuff like that. But, of course, if somebody is COVID positive, then they'll have to isolate, but we're feeling pretty good that we're able to start and have it be pretty typical this year.
And what about the channel of communication? Say a student does come to school positive or a family member's positive, how will that be, told to the school nurse and teachers and classroom? I think that communication, a lot of parents are curious about how that's going to go this new year.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have a lot of experience with that these days after the last couple of years. And so, we remind our parents that if your child is symptomatic, they should test. If they're positive, you should definitely contact the school nurse. And certainly if we have students in school that are symptomatic, we'll contact the family and try and work through that situation and make sure that everybody can remain healthy and in school to the greatest extent possible.
Okay. And you have some exciting news in terms of school modernization. I understand the community is going to be facing a referendum decision this fall for replacement of some buildings.
Yeah, the date hasn't been set yet, but I do know that this fall, the Town Council and Board of Education have both unanimously endorsed a project after years of research to determine how do we move forward with our school system. So the average age of a Cheshire school is 72 years old. There have been limited additions over the years, but basically the most recent building that we've constructed is in 1971. So a couple of our older elementary schools that are 75 years old or so, we're looking at taking 3 buildings offline and building 2 larger buildings, because not only are our buildings dated and lacking things like ADA compliance issues, but we're also facing an exciting increase in enrollment. Our K through 6 enrollment is slated to increase by 20% over the next 10 years. So we're trying to prepare for that as well.
Wow, that is pretty exciting. And, 1971, You said that was a little while ago. I'm sure even some of the parents weren't even born then.
Right. It was right about the time Disney World opened. So I think when you think of it in those terms, it wasn't last week by a long shot.
Right, exactly. And I also understand, teen mental health is definitely on the top of your list too, going into this new school year. Can you talk about this new program and how you guys are going to be tackling this in a different way?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about something that's really so critical. Our school system for the last 7 years actually has focused on 2 real marquee goals. One is complex thinking, and the other is social emotional learning. So what we're doing next year is just an extension of what we've already been doing with what was youth mental health first aid. So the National Council for Mental Wellbeing has trained many of our staff in youth mental health first aid. So this is a training for adults. What we're doing next year is really one of the first in the United States programs where our adults are being coached in how to teach our kids about mental health and recognizing signs and symptoms in yourself and in others, and then how to connect people with supports when they need that. So that we're excited because we think it's really important to be part of a whole person education, that mental health needs are addressed too, and that helps our kids be more successful and feel more fulfilled in their education. We're excited about that. That's going to be a program for 10th graders next year.
10th graders. And so will it start in September?
Yeah, that'll start in September. The lessons that are taught to the students are 6 45-minute sessions spread out over the course of a few weeks. So we'll, over the course of the fall, reach all of our sophomores. And if with any fortune and if things are going well, we'll look at extending that even to juniors if possible. But we're definitely going to work with our sophomore class next year.
That's great. And, you know, we've been hearing from so many school districts that are trying to get, you know, whether it's like a little mental health clinic or, you know, teaming up with some other resources, because it is such a huge issue that should be on the forefront of everyone's minds, parents, students, you know, staff. It affects everyone. So it's great that you guys are doing that.
Yeah, we started about 8 to 10 years ago at our high school level, requiring things like mindfulness for students. And at the time, I was the high school principal, and I remember being shocked by the feedback that we got from our kids, where our 15-year-old students are telling us that this is really beneficial. I use it to help myself fall asleep at night. I use it when I'm feeling anxious about a test or a musical performance or the play or athletics. And to see how valuable it was for our students really reinforced our efforts to ensure that our students have this sort of background knowledge to be able to be present in the moment, to be able to recognize when they're feeling anxious and have the skills to breathe and calm themselves down and be in a better position to navigate whatever challenges they face. So this is an extension of that, and we're really proud of bringing that effort to Cheshire High School next year.
That's great. Wow, I wish I could sit in one of those classes. I want to practice more mindfulness myself.
Anytime.
Thank you. And any message that you kind of want to convey to parents out there? It's exciting, a new school year is beginning, but at the same time, some may be a bit trepidatious because there's just a lot going on in the world. It's a little crazy right now,
Yeah.
and I think a message coming from you just to kind of ground everyone would be very welcome.
Yeah, and for me, I'm certainly aware of the myriad of challenges that exist in the world, be they political or with health issues and mental health issues. But I'm really excited because we have the opportunity to work with a generation that will be given the skills to navigate those and resolve those issues. We're really blessed in our field to have such an opportunity to work with talented kids and committed families and staff members to give our kids the skills they need to help our world become a better place. So we're excited about the start of the year. I know as much as it's a little demoralizing to look at the summer dwindling, we're excited about the opportunity in front of us for this upcoming school year.
Great. And Dr. Solon, if parents have any last minute questions, before their kids head into school, which direction should we point them in?
Sure. I think, it's always a good place to start with your school. If there's a question about instruction, and once your child has a teacher assigned to them, they should always reach out to the teacher. But certainly, the principal, central office, we're all here to help. We're all part of the same team. But I think the best place to start is with the teacher. If it's a question about COVID or something like that, maybe the nurse or the school office is a good place to go. But regardless of where you start, we'll help you get to the right place. And we're excited that actually we should be rolling out a brand new website in actually the coming days before the start of school. And so on that site, there'll be a tip for parents on who to contact when they have specific questions. So I would encourage our parents to look for that too in the next couple of weeks.
And we will count down those days. Count down the remainder of summer or count down until school. It depends
That's
how
right.
you want to look at it.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your summer. I'm sure you're busy preparing for the start of school, but we appreciate your time today. Dr. Jeff Solon, Superintendent of Cheshire Public Schools.
Thank you.